Happy Camper Radio, episode 60. Come on, let's go camping. Hello, my friends, and Happy Camper Radio is on the air. The Big 60, episode 60. Hello, Daniel.
I remember when I said that this show was old enough to drink. It was 21 on our 21st show. Now it's almost old enough to retire.
That's going back a good ways.
It is.
Hey, happy belated Memorial Day to you.
Yeah, it was very happy.
Yeah,
Very
what
nice.
exactly did you do? You didn't work, I know that, because you folks in government usually are off on the holidays.
We are,
Yeah, okay.
Among other people.
Okay.
I went to look at pop-ups. I can't help myself, Skip. I'm always ready for the next thing.
Sure.
And we saw one. Oh my goodness. Ooh, if I didn't have one right now, it would probably be sitting in my yard. And then
I don't understand why it's not. It doesn't make sense to me, you know. And first of all, you found a business that was open on Memorial Day, and I guess, of course, that would be an opportune time to go out and buy a new RV or travel trailer.
Actually, this one we went to was on our way to another one, which was closed, and then we went to another one that all they had was RVs. So that one kind of justified our trip.
So you didn't go to the Renaissance Festival yesterday as you planned?
We went. Well, I went to the camping place on Sunday, and then we went to the Renaissance Fair on Monday with friends, and that took up all day long.
I barbecued on my grill in the backyard.
Did you? And you didn't say me
I
anything.
Did. Well,
Wow.
when I was actually cooking the food and not burning it as I've been accused of doing before, I was thinking about you, and I thought for sure you would be at the Renaissance Festival with a huge turkey leg in your hand.
Oh yeah, turkey leg. It was good.
Well, I tell you what, we did have a great opportunity. If you're not going to go camping, hey, cooking on the grill is the next best thing, and you want to do that on those holidays because it, it brings a lot of warmth to your heart, and it's a great thing to do. So, if you're going to be off that day and you have no plans with the family, then definitely, throw some charcoals on the grill. It really, really makes your day. Our phone number here is 404-537-2267. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Camp Talker, and add us to your circles on Google+. Of course, you can access any one of our social media sites very simply by going to our homepage, which is www.happycamperradio.com. And by all means, take a moment to click on the RSS feed button if you haven't already done that. And this way you can subscribe to the show and never miss a single episode. Daniel, let's light the campfire. I have been dying to do this all week long. And incidentally, I have made my camping reservations. And in less than 2 weeks, I am going to be camping for 4 straight days, and I'm going to get this in before the Great American Backyard Campout.
Ooh, look at you!
So it's looked like hey, and I am starting to get into full mode here.
How are you?
And that's something that I definitely want to encourage not only you but also any of our listeners who plan on going camping this summer. It's peak season in a lot of places. And if you're going to be going somewhere in hopes of finding a vacancy at a campground that you have been looking at, you might want to make sure that those campgrounds don't take reservations first of all, or if you get there and you find out that there is no place available, that you have a plan B available. That's why I always encourage folks that if you're going to go camping, make your reservation ahead of time. And it's a good thing that I did this over here at the Stone Mountain Park Campground, where my brother and I and my brother-in-law are going to be camping for 4 nights.
Do they like camping too?
Oh, they love it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they are really looking forward to camping out over there. They are looking forward to actually participating in the show.
Oh, that could be fun.
And I am thinking very seriously about podcasting over there.
Oh, okay.
All right. That would be so neat.
Do it in front of a real fire.
That would be so neat because, Daniel, when I made the reservations, again, I've been doing this 2 weeks in advance. And when I walked in, they're saying, okay, hey, great, yeah, we have some vacancies. Here are some spots that are not available because they've already been booked, and they were marking them off the map. And I'm going, oh, it's a darn good thing that I came over here and got my reservations in when I did.
Yeah, definitely.
But, I'm going to definitely have some folks around me, in very close proximity, and I'm sure they are going to be pumped up into camping just like I am, and have an opportunity maybe to invite them over to be on the show.
Yeah, sure.
Why not? Yes.
The more the merrier.
Absolutely. Daniel, we have some shout-outs here for... Oh, you just get into that, don't you? Some newcomers to the show. We are so happy to have them on board. Dylan's RV Center in Sewell, New Jersey. He added us to circles on Google+. And also to King Controls in Bloomington, Minnesota. I believe these folks are into the RV antennas, Daniel.
Oh, okay.
The over-the-air antennas, the satellite antennas, for guys like who bring a 60-inch flat panel TV in your pop-up. Yeah,
of course.
Sure.
I mean,
hey,
no
why not give them a call? They can probably hook you up with something.
All right.
And also to Camperlands in Manchester, United Kingdom. Welcome aboard, each and every one of you, and thank you for being a part of the Happy Camper Radio Show, this wonderful podcast that Daniel and I have been so actively involved in for more than a year now.
So, Skip, we went to the RV and we saw, what are the silver campers called? Do you remember? Airstreams. They're called Airstreams. We saw an old Airstream from the 70s, and that looks pretty cool. And I would love to see, because overseas, we got a lot of listeners overseas.
Right.
I would love to see what campers over there look like.
There
because
is
so different. There
is an Airstream park that I pass every time I drive to North Georgia to my camping destination. It's along the way, and that's all that is parked there are Airstream trailers. Yes.
Wow.
But the Airstream, they say, is like the Cadillac of RVs. They're expensive, and but hey, a lot of people have them too.
Yeah.
Hey, Daniel, another thing I want to mention: one of our very long-time listeners, Frankie Mohammed. Remember him?
Oh yeah, he's
Frankie
been active on Facebook.
He has been overseas. And
in Iraq or Saudi Arabia?
I believe he's been in Baghdad.
Baghdad.
Yes. Well, anyway, Daniel, Frankie finally arrived back here in the States.
Oh, good for him.
Yes, I managed to look him up on his Facebook page, and he made it back home. And I remember he was very excited when he first started listening to the show. And he never misses an episode. And he indicated that when he gets back, he's going to actively get into camping.
Oh,
and
fun.
We are so happy to have him back once again. Frankie, welcome home. Glad to have you here. And definitely stay in touch with Daniel and I. Let us know how your camping ventures go, buddy. Like I said, Frankie's been a long-time listener, a good friend of ours, and we're glad to have him as part of the show. Hey, I also heard from Gary this past week, Daniel.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, our listener and follower of the Happy Camper Radio Show, and he is hiking the Appalachian Trail. And he took off how long ago, Daniel? About 3 weeks ago, was it now?
Yeah, it's been about 3 weeks.
Gary finally, Daniel, hit the 200-mile mark. That is a long way.
That's a lot of walking.
It certainly is. But anyway, Gary called the show.
Oh, okay.
Let's hear what he had to say.
Hello, Skip. Hello, Daniel. And hello to Happy Campers. This is Gary, your old friend, the Green Giant, calling from the Appalachian Trail. I'm standing here at the top of Clingman's Dome on Memorial Day weekend. Clingman's Dome is famous because it is the highest point on the Appalachian Trail at just over 6,600 feet. And another significant milestone today is that I will cross the 200-mile mark on my journey. My family's here because I live nearby, and they brought me some pizza and some other goodies, and it was really nice to see them, and now it's time for me to get back on the trail. But I just wanted to check in with you guys and let you know that I've been having a great time listening to the show and sharing my adventures with you. Last episode I listened to, I heard you guys say that you might be taking some questions from some of your listeners, and I got to tell you, I'm really excited about that because I'm interested to hear what they want to know, and it'll give me an opportunity to share some of my stories and tricks and tips about camping. So off into the woods again, and hope I talk to you guys soon. Happy trails and happy camping. Bye-bye.
Wow, Daniel, you got to give that guy a lot of credit.
Wait a minute. Pizza? I thought he was supposed to be foraging for nuts and berries in the woods.
Hey,
Isn't that what you're supposed to do?
If you were on a hike that you knew was going to be a couple thousand miles, and you finally got to the 200-mile mark, and your wife was waiting there for you with a hot pizza, don't tell me your mouth wouldn't be watering too.
Well, that 60-inch plasma would be heavy, so I'd probably want to eat some of that pizza.
Yes, and then I don't know exactly what kind of food Gary's carrying along there with him. Based upon some of the photographs that he has posted, it looks like he's got some MREs, which very well, meals ready to eat. And they're lightweight, and I'm sure they're very nutritious.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, if you've gone that far and you've got a pepperoni pizza waiting on you, ooh, wow, Daniel.
Yeah. Oh, well, I've been to his neck of the woods.
Okay.
And in Asheville, all the food is to die for. Everything is so good up there. Mm-hmm. I love eating up there.
I bet you do.
It's like the New Orleans of the mountains.
Well, Daniel, one of the things that Gary was mentioning, and he touched base with us again, he's been listening to the show on the trail, and that's great. And I'm sure he's sharing that with all of his fellow hikers, too. But one of the episodes that he was listening to when we were talking about hiking the Appalachian Trail, remember when Deidre was here in the studio with us? Yeah. She had mentioned that a lot of times people get off halfway through the trail and move directly to the trail end up in Maine and start hiking back because later on in the year, that section of the trail closes down because of winter weather. Well, Gary says he's going to be doing exactly that.
Oh, okay.
He is going to hike all the way up until August, and he's going to go to the trailhead in Maine and hike backwards.
Yeah.
Okay, and then come to the point wherever he was picked up at. So he, in essence, is going to be walking the entire length of the Appalachian Trail. Yeah. And his expenses, are not really that much as far as money-wise goes. He was saying the only thing that he has really had to pay so far as out of pocket for license and fees is $20 just to hike through the Smokies. But everything else has been equipment and food.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that adds up also.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, Gary, hey, have a great time out there. Definitely stay in touch with you. Daniel and I would love to have you on the show where we have an opportunity to talk to you one-on-one. And like we say, and we'll say it again, if any of Gary's fans out there from his Facebook page or wherever, would like to get in touch with Gary, all you've got to do is give Daniel and I a call here. And our number again, 404-537-2267. You can leave a message for Gary. Or if you would like to email us, go to happycamperradio.com and click on the Contact Us button, and you can type up your message there for Gary, and we can, ask him some of these questions when we have an opportunity to have some dialogue with him. But, you can check out Gary's webpage. It's on our homepage. We have a link to it right there, and you can follow his steps right along the way on the Appalachian Trail and see exactly where he's at and how far along he's come. He's got some great, beautiful pictures there. Also.
He's writing a book too.
Yes.
About the whole thing. Yeah. That's how I found him. He's a frog pants guy like me, and I found him from listening to the morning stream, and I heard his commercial. I was like, I got to get this guy on our show. He sounds like he's hardcore. He knows what he's doing.
Not only is the book going to be Daniel. Not only is the book going to be a good read, I hope he has some of those pictures that he is posting online in that book too, because that's going, beautiful color pictures. You don't see some of those things, every day. Some of those sites and and views and everything that he's getting an opportunity to look at. We will never be able to see those. But,
I might do it
we
one
can
day.
See it through the lens of Gary's camera.
I might do it one day.
Okay. Well, you go right ahead.
I just don't know if I can get the wife to do it.
Just make sure bring a microphone and a remote antenna so we can do the show.
I should. I'll say it's a good way to lose weight. You think Deidre will go for that?
She might.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Yeah,
we'll do that.
See if you take her along with you.
Yeah. I'll carry her on my back. And she can carry the 60-inch plasma.
Right. That will go over well.
We got to figure out where to put the plasma, though. That's the only problem.
Well, Daniel, today I'd like to talk about camp budget. All right, since we like to budget our money, And I like to budget any time that I go camping. I try to, keep things as simple as I possibly can. I think that's a very important topic of discussion. Now, budgeting for a camping trip is similar to putting together a household budget.
I have a separate account. We call it the vacation account. And usually,
but you use that to go down to that event every year downtown.
Well, there's that too, and there's vacation money too. But we throw in about $50 every paycheck or so, and
well, good for you.
Go camping.
All right, whatever works. But setting aside a budget for camping, especially when you're going to be buying food. That is so important. Here's a lot of things, that you might want to consider. If you're going to be planning a trip somewhere, you want to set aside a certain amount of money for that trip. And a lot of that is going to depend on the length of your vacation and the activities that you have planned while you are gone. There are some events that you may want to take in while you're on vacation that is going to cost a little bit of money. In instances like those, it's going to require a larger budget. And of course, the larger your camping party, the larger your budget's going to be.
Yep.
Now, I'm going to go over some things today that folks might want to consider before planning a vacation and deciding how much money to bring with them. Now, here's some of those things. Okay, first of all, how far is your destination? I'm talking about camping here in a couple weeks, Daniel, which is, 3 miles from the house?
Yeah, you're camping 3 miles from the house, Skip. I can't do that.
Okay, that's less than a quarter of a tank of gas. So, I mean, as far as gasoline expenses,
you're good to go.
I've got it made.
You could walk there.
Uh-huh.
I've walked there before. I used to work at Snow Mountain.
But there are going to be folks who go on vacation that may travel a few hundred miles. So you've got to consider the cost of fuel. In a case like you, for example, if you go on vacation and you stop somewhere for the night, and of course, I've mentioned here, just recently, I am not one who enjoys camping at rest stops.
No.
I mean, especially if you've got family, you want to get a good night's sleep. So, if you're going a couple, 300-400 miles and you're not going to make it in one day, consider a hotel along the way. That's going to cost money as well. You're going to have the cost of food, and that doesn't include the food that is inside your cooler that you're taking to the campground. You're going to have money you're going to need to set aside for breakfast and lunch and what have you.
And you got to always think, well, here's what I do. You got to think about, buying ice every now and then. But what I do is I usually just get a bunch of freezer packs, and those seem to work pretty good too because ice makes everything wet and nasty and everything. But our last camp trip me and Deidre went on, we just got a bunch of those ice packs and put those in there, and those lasted a whole long time.
Especially these coolers being made the way they are today. And I mentioned in one of our previous episodes here that I purchased a brand new cooler last year, and it has a 5-day rating period for ice.
Okay.
So, if I go away for 5 days, I'm generally, for the most part, good on 1 bucket of ice in there.
Oh, okay. All right.
But I'm going to go add more ice to it if I need to. That's the way it is. Something else you need to consider, too, is campground fees. Not every place you're going to go to for a camping adventure is going to be free. So there's going to be times and places that that you're going to have to consider if you're spending maybe 3 or 4 nights there. How much is it going to be per night, per family, per campsite?
Yeah.
So you're going to have to include that as well. And I'm throwing a lot of things out here, Daniel, but, it's a lot of things that when we plan on a vacation that we get so excited and caught up in the just the excitement of going there that we may forget some of these things.
I just whip out the credit card.
A lot of people do that, but some people bring cash.
Oh yeah.
All right, and we're going to talk about credit and debit here in an upcoming episode.
Oh, okay.
So that's also a very important subject matter when it comes to camping. You've got to consider the cost of meals, snacks, and drinks. Snacks and drinks especially. On hot summer days, you're going to have your kids that are going to be thirsty. You definitely want to keep them hydrated.
I like the trail mix things, like the like the nuts and the fruit and stuff, like the dried fruit and stuff, that seems to keep you going for a pretty good time. I mean, yeah, you can eat like, candy and stuff, but that ain't going to do it for you as far as sustenance. But you want something that's kind of, going to stay with you for a little bit.
Sure, and your kids are going to want them in between meal snacks.
Yeah.
And a lot of folks buy them drink boxes because they're easy to bring along. They're easy to store. You don't have to have no glasses to wash or anything like that. You just throw them away, and some people just throw them on the campfire.
Yeah. So, there you go.
Another thing you want to consider also are some of the planned and non-planned activities. When you get there, what are some of the things that you're going to be doing? Well, some people like to venture off to zoos and parks.
Mm-hmm. And you know what a lot of people do? They go shopping. Like every time I'll go out somewhere, we'll be camping somewhere, then we'll go to the nearest mall. I don't know why, but we always go to the mall when we go camping for some reason.
I used to tell my wife, when we go to the mall, let's do window shopping.
Yeah.
All right, let's not go inside.
How did that work?
That didn't go over
What?
well. That's why we never went to the malls and we never went shopping together, because she couldn't see it my way. So, if you're going to be going to some of these places, some zoos or some public parks, there may be an admission fee, and you've got to consider the cost of admission per person.
Always bring cash. This is something that I just remembered. We went up to Helen, and I think there's a national park inside of the state park. It's like the state park, then there's the national park, and there's a $2 fee, and we don't carry cash at all ever, and we couldn't get in because we didn't have cash. So it's always a good idea to have
a little bit of pocket money.
Yes, always, because we couldn't go into the national park because of that, and it was only $2.
And the way things are today, Daniel, that's rare.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah.
Of course, once you get into some of these parks or these places that you go to, you're going to want to buy souvenirs. Mm-hmm. Maybe you may not want to, but your kids might.
Do you collect anything, Skip? Do you collect spoons or
Daniel,
shot glasses?
I have got so much stuff around here. I don't have any more room to put it.
We collect pins. Every time we go to like a cavern or a park or something, we'll get like one of those hat pins, and we put it on a burlap sack and we hang it up on the wall, and you can like see all the places we've gone to, like the cavern and the different states and the parks, and it's really cool.
You're going to have to show me that sometime.
Oh, I'll show you.
Hey, let's not overlook some of the unexpected expenses that you may run into. First of all, some things you may have left behind, and you shouldn't really be leaving anything behind. If you're good about taking inventory like I am, you're always going to remember the bug spray. You're going to remember to bring along the tent stakes and your charcoal and your lighter fluid. You can't be without those two. Maybe some spare mantles for your lantern. I have an abundance of those. And usually when I am in the camping supply aisle in any store, if I say, hey, I've got to buy something, while I'm down here, if I walk away with anything, it's going to be an extra package or two of mantles, because you never know when you're going to need those. So, you may have some of those items that you will need when you get to your camping destination, but you come to find out you left them behind. And you may have to go to the campground's mini mart, or if they have one there, or maybe some close by to purchase these items.
Those places are expensive.
They are, but that's a convenience, Daniel.
We forgot toothpaste when we were down at Callaway.
Shame on you.
And I had to go to the toothpaste, or to the convenience store.
To the toothpaste store, right?
Yes. It was like $3. I could not believe it. I can't believe we forgot toothpaste.
Oh,
and it costed me $3 for a little tiny tube of toothpaste.
Okay.
But we had to
there
have
you go.
Yeah.
It does happen.
It does.
Some of the things you got to consider also, and we don't want to talk about this, but it's necessary. What if you run into some unexpected auto repairs while you're gone? All right, you're going to be looking at towing fees if you don't have towing covered by your insurance company. You also have to consider repairs that may take more than a day.
Oh, I got a story about this one. I have a story for everything, Skip. You'll learn this in time. I'm sure you've already learned it. So we were about to go up to Chattanooga to spend the weekend. I don't think we were camping or anything. But we got up to Marietta, which is, it's about 50, 60 miles from the house. And we got a flat tire. So, Deidre doesn't really feel comfortable about riding on the donut because you're not really supposed to ride on the donut more than 50 miles. So we had to go to the Walmart and we had to wait for them to put on the spare tire and everything, and it was a pain in the butt.
Oh my.
Ugh.
So nobody wants to be involved.
You never know when you're going to get a flat. I mean,
exactly.
You could
you never know when your vehicle's going to break down.
I mean, you can kind of take care of that, take precautions, but flat tires, it could happen anytime.
Sure.
We drove out to Dallas, and I was like an hour into Dallas. It was about almost midnight, and we got a flat tire.
Yeah.
So you just never know.
So, you've got to consider, some of these unexpected repair expenses. And like I was saying, if you have repairs that take more than a day, then you're going to have some additional added expenses, maybe an overnight stay in a hotel. Maybe an additional night at your campground, which, I can get into that, but it's going to cost you some more money. That will also mean additional meals, and here's something else that is avoidable, Daniel, and that is traffic tickets.
Yep.
All right, we've talked about that as well. All right, but some people may see them as unavoidable. Yes, no, they are avoidable.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you've got to also consider your meal planning. If you are the person who normally does the shopping in your household, you are probably the ideal person to prepare the camp menu. All right, you will consider, what you're going to have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You're going to consider the necessary ingredients if you plan to get a little creative at the campground, and there's nothing wrong with that. The kind of snacks you can basically ask your family. What do you want to have to snack on during the day? And everybody will give you an idea. You can throw those in there as well. Preparing your budget well in advance is so important. When you do that, definitely keep an open mind. So, there's a lot of things that, you want to consider when you're planning a budget. Stick with the budget unless, of course, money is no object.
Like me, right?
All right, yeah, then that's fine. But, a lot of people try to do this very, very carefully.
Mm-hmm.
Try not to worry about the what-ifs while you're on vacation or you're not going to have any fun.
Yeah.
It's time now for our featured campground of the week here on the Happy Camper Radio Show. Daniel, we are going to go to the state of Montana. We haven't been out there in a while. But
I'd like to go out there one day.
They have a lot of cabin rentals out there.
Ooh.
But this campground right here is an awesome campground.
Uh-huh.
It is the Lonesomehurst Campground in Montana that is open all the way through Saturday, September the 20th, 2014. And if you want to make a reservation, you can do that online. Check out some of the beautiful photographs that's on their webpage, and you can very simply access that by clicking on the featured campground button on our homepage all this week. The Lonesomehurst Campground is located on the banks of the scenic Hebgen Lake, and it's just 20 minutes from West Yellowstone. So even if you're planning on a visit to Yellowstone National Park, consider this campground as a place to lay your head while you were away. And it's a great destination, like I say, a lot of activities. A lot of the typical ones we've talked about on the show. They've got fishing, hiking, a parking area, lake access, electrical hookups if you're bringing your RV or your motorhome, campfire rings, boat trailer parking, a boat ramp. They have got a lot of it. Now, here's some things you need to consider if you're going to be camping at this campground or really anywhere out in that particular region. Bears frequent the area, so all food must be stored in approved containers and secured when the campsite is unoccupied. Also, remember that you can't bring outside firewood to the area. You're going to have to purchase that locally because of the insect infestation that they do not want in that area. So consider this campground if you are going to be in the state of Montana this time of the year, anytime this summer. It is the Lonesomehurst Campground in Montana, and it is our featured campground of the week here on the Happy Camper Radio Show. And as always, if you have a campground that you would like Daniel and I to feature here on the program, by all means, get in touch with us at 404-537-2267, or you can email me, Skip, SKIP, at happycamperradio.com, or
Daniel at happycamperradio.com.
The guy who really loves fan mail. Keep it coming his direction, folks. He really enjoys it. Daniel, it's been an interesting show.
Yeah.
And I am in countdown mode right now.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, so I'm getting very excited about this coming camping trip coming up, as well as the Great American Backyard Campout, which is only a month away, and we'll be talking more about that here probably next week. The Happy Camper Radio Show is a presentation of Skip Huber Productions. I'm Skip. I am a happy camper, and no doubt about it, my friends, you can be a happy camper too. We'll talk to you next week. This is Happy Camper Radio.